Hello, welcome to Encik Horror Storytelling Podcast, where real paranormal encounters are shared and the unexplained comes to life. Before we begin tonight's story, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube, follow my TikTok and Instagram, and also check out my Spotify at Encik Horrors. If you have any stories to share, DM me on my TikTok. Now, let's get into tonight's encounter. For tonight's story is shared by a listener and is titled The Whisper at Pasir Park. It was almost midnight when the four of us decided to cycle through Pasir Park. We had finished our supper nearby and weren't ready to head home yet. One of us suggested a late night ride through the park, and everyone agreed. It wasn't our first time cycling there after dark. We have done it plenty of times before and never experienced anything unusual. The park was unusually quiet that night. Normally, you could hear the sounds of waves crashing against the shore, insects chirping from the mangroves, or distant laughter from people fishing by the jetty. But that night felt different. The sea breeze had stopped, and even the trees seemed motionless. The silence felt heavy. At first, none of us mentioned it. We simply rode along the dimly lit path, joking with each other and filming parts of our ride on our phones for fun. As we approached the mangrove boardwalk, Ali suddenly slowed down. "Did one of you call me?" he asked. The rest of us looked at him. "No." Ali frowned. "I swear, I heard someone say my name." We laughed. "Bro, you're just imagining things. Maybe it's the wind." Then Ali said, "There wasn't even any wind." That earned another round of laughter. Ali shook his head and continued cycling. A few minutes later, the path became darker as we entered a stretch surrounded by thick mangrove trees. The lamps were further apart here, leaving patches of dark between pools of yellow light. That's when all four of us heard it. The voice was soft, a woman's voice, clear enough that there was no mistaking it. Every one of us stopped pedaling. The bicycles rolled to a halt. Nobody spoke. The voice had sounded as if it came from directly behind us. We turned around. Nothing. Just the empty boardwalk stretching into darkness. The silence returned. One of my friends forced a laugh. "Okay, that's creepy." Ali's face turned pale. "See? I told you I heard it earlier." We stood there for a few seconds, debating whether to continue or turn back. Eventually, curiosity won. We kept riding. About 50 meters ahead, the boardwalk curved around a section of dense mangrove. As we rounded the bend, we saw someone standing at the edge of the walkway. A woman, dressed entirely in white. Her long black hair hung over her face. We assumed she was another park visitor. Maybe someone taking photos, or maybe someone's lost. But the longer we looked, the stranger it became. She wasn't moving, not even slightly. Her dress didn't sway. Her hair didn't move. She stood completely still, like a mannequin. One of us called out, "Hello?" No response. The woman remained motionless. Ali nervously laughed. "Let's just go." But before anyone could move, the woman slowly lifted her head. The movement was unnatural, too slow, too stiff, as though every joint in her back was resisting. Her hair parted, and where her eyes should have been were only dark empty sockets. No eyes, no pupils, just darkness. For a moment, none of us moved. It felt like our bodies had frozen. Then one of us screamed. The spell broke instantly. We jumped into our bicycles and pedaled as hard as we could. The sound of bicycle chains rattled through the night. Nobody looked back. Nobody spoke. All we wanted was to get away. As we sped down the path, Ali suddenly shouted, "Something's beside me." I looked over. At first, I thought he was panicking. Then I saw it too. The woman was running beside his bicycle. Not sprinting, not struggling to keep up. She was gliding effortlessly, keeping the exact same pace. Her white dress floated just above the ground, and on her face was a wide smile. A smile that stretched far wider than any normal person should. Ali nearly lost control of his bicycle. We pedaled even faster. The path ahead seemed endless. Every glance over our shoulders showed nothing. But every time we looked at Ali's side, she was still there, running, smiling, and watching him. Then suddenly, she just disappeared, just vanished, as though she had never been there at all. None of us slowed down. We didn't stop until we reached the car park. Breathing heavily, we leaned against our bicycle and tried to catch our breath. Everyone was talking at once. "Tell me you saw that. Do you see her? She was right next to him." Ali couldn't even speak. His hands were trembling. After a few minutes, we finally calmed down enough to leave. Before riding off, one of us remembered that Ali had mounted his phone on the handlebars and had been recording the entire ride. Curious, we gathered around the screen. The footage showed us cycling through the park, the dark Broadway. The moment we stopped, then the sudden chaos when we fled. But something else was there, something none of us remembered hearing. At exactly 11:57 p.m, just before the woman appeared, a voice could be heard through the phone's microphone. A female voice whispering very closely, as if her lips were pressed against the microphone. The four of us stared at each other. Nobody said a word. Then another whisper played a few seconds later. This one was clearer, slower, almost amused. "Next time." The recording crackled with static, and then the final words came through. The video ended. We checked the timestamp, 11:59 p.m. None of us ever cycled through Pasir Park again after midnight. And after years, whenever Ali talks about that night, he still swears that the scariest part wasn't seeing the woman. It was what appeared for a split second in the reflection of his phone screen just before the video ended. Just standing directly behind all four of us in the car park was a woman in white, smiling. Do you believe in this story? Believe it or not, your choice.